We're back with our breaking news. At least one person has been killed, 14 others injured at a Super Bowl victory rally in Kansas City. You're seeing images there of people and law enforcement running at the scene moments ago. That was a chaotic scene that is now, we're learning, resulting in casualties. We are awaiting a news conference from police with updates, but I want to go straight to CNN's Josh Campbell. Josh, we're learning some new information about the numbers here. How many people injured? And unfortunately, we are learning of a death.
No, absolutely. And, as we all fear, the number keeps going up now. We're hearing from the fire department in Kansas City that there are now approximately 14 people who are injured. As you mentioned, one of those individuals has sadly succumbed to their injuries. Of those who are injured, we're told that 3 are currently in critical condition. 5 people right now are in serious condition, and there is 1 person with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, authorities have not yet indicated what among those who are suffering gunshot wounds, what other injuries may have been sustained during fleeing this shooting taking place at the end of the celebration. But again, we're told right now 1 person who is dead, approximately 14 other victims, and at least 3 people right now in critical condition in the hospital. As you mentioned, Abby, we are awaiting this press conference from police to provide additional information. There's a lot we don't know about what actually transpired, but the fact that they are holding a press conference in and of itself is signaling to us that it appears at least the emergent phase of this incident is now over. Apart from some type of manhunt that might be underway, authorities typically they will come out and provide information once the emergency is over. So we will wait to hear what authorities say as far as what they believe happened here, who was responsible, any additional information on the victims. And a major question we have is authorities have said that 2 individuals who were armed were detained at the scene pending additional information investigation. They haven't indicated that those people were specifically involved here in this shooting. And then again, finally, one major question we all have, did this shooting actually relate to this massive Super Bowl celebration that was taking place there in Kansas City, or was this something that was occurring adjacent, unrelated, and you just happened to have this large crowd there? A lot of unanswered questions. Again, that press conference should be starting here moments from now.
All right, Josh Campbell, stand by for us as we do await that press conference that's expected this hour. Back with me now, though, is Senior National Security Analyst Juliette Kayyem and former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe. Andy, I want to get to you on what Josh was just highlighting there. There are always these uncertainties in this situation, but some key ones. One, police are being very careful in how they describe these 2 armed individuals who have been detained in the context of this shooting. We don't know if they are considered suspects. And as Josh has also pointed out, we don't know whether or not this shooting was targeted at this event or adjacent to this event. So given all of that, what do you think we can expect to hear at this stage from police as they anticipate to come out in the coming minutes to give us a briefing?
Sure. So I hope that we hear some more details about how they think about these 2 individuals who are in custody. And Josh has pointed it out well. This is a state with very loose gun laws. There's open carry laws. Basically, anyone over 18 basically can carry a weapon anywhere they want to go. This is an outdoor event in a massive park. In which tickets are certainly not required. Access to the event was open to the public, so it's likely that there were many people in the crowd carrying weapons. So we don't know if the 2 people are in custody, if police have any reason to believe that they were the ones that fired these shots that caused the injuries. So in order to establish that, they'll be looking for eyewitnesses. They'll be reviewing any security cameras that might have been up in the area that might have seen, the folks who are involved in this sort of thing. They'll want to talk to these 2 people. It's possible that they'll be interviewed and cooperate and explain whether or not they were involved or what their perspective is on the whole thing. So hopefully we'll hear some details about these 2 from law enforcement. Although I have to say, we've done these things so many times before, Abby. We all know that the first press conference is often very sparse in terms of detail because it's early on in the investigation, and law enforcement is reluctant to disclose the information that they know, and they're very actively caught up in trying to sort these details out. So hopefully we'll get some insight, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it.
Juliet, do you get the sense that given that there is a briefing anticipated, given that the scene seems to be relatively calm, police are not anticipating that there is a manhunt underway? Could we extrapolate that?
There may be a manhunt underway. I do think that the police are sort of walking away from these two arrests, not in a bad way, but just simply saying we don't know if they're involved, but they were armed around the event. The two things that hopefully will come out of this, obviously, is the injured, is the victims. I mean, this is ultimately about them and about the people who are harmed. What's going on with family unification, what's going on with family notification. We may not learn their names, but it's been several hours, so they have a sense of the harm at least now, and it's not good. We have several people in critical condition. Second will be the nature of the injury. So what we don't know now is was this targeted because it was a Super Bowl event, or is it just we have lots of guns in this country and there was something that happened that led to gun violence, and it was next to a parade with 1 million people, and therefore you are going to have harms that may be unrelated to being shot, right? And in fact, we don't know if that many people were shot. Your biggest fear is, of course, crowd crush. I was looking, I do a lot of designing on this stuff. So I'm looking at the gates. The gates are meant to protect people that are in. You're going to have a lot of people hurt if they're trying to get out of the pinned area because they're hearing gunshot wounds. So those are the things that we will hear in terms of what we worry about in terms of these mega events. And then, of course, what an investigation looks like. But like Andrew, I don't think we'll hear much about that piece of it right now.
Yeah. And look, this is, as you pointed out, a huge event, the event itself, but it's also a citywide celebration. People having their own gatherings, possibly intoxicated, all kinds of things can unfold in that.
Afternoon, we're coming on the air with breaking news. There has been a shooting at the parade celebrating the Super Bowl championship Kansas City Chiefs. We are getting reports that multiple people have been shot. It is still clearly an active situation. There is a large police presence there right now. Let's go right to Jesse Kirsch, who is in Kansas City. Jesse, what have you seen and heard?
Yeah, Lester, so police are telling us that shots have been fired around Union Station, which is behind me here. This is where the celebration was just wrapping up for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to have our photographer pan over to the side here. You can see there is still an ambulance with the lights flashing. Our team was able to see at least one person on a stretcher from our vantage point, which is quite a ways back. And you can see there's still people milling about out here in red Chiefs gear, even though the crowd has been asked to go home. So it just speaks to the fact that the broader public may not be realizing what has unfolded here. And we're going to pan over now to the other side of the train station. This is where we saw simultaneously fans in red gear running away from the train station. And at the same time, what appeared to be a group of police officers rushing into the area, some even jumping over the fencing. Again, all these barricades are up because of this parade. And we've also had out here, because of the size of the crowd, a heightened security presence. There's a team with at least binoculars right up here. And then I'm going to step out of the way, and you can see on top of that hotel over there, there's a team with a long gun on a tripod. And what we noticed is all of that was unfolding on the ground was one of the two people up there ran away from the corner, seemed to be grabbing something and bringing it back to the front. So we noticed this heightened security presence, and you can hear the sirens in the background. That's been going almost continuously throughout the last half hour or so as this has all been unfolding. And again, what you were looking at broadly here is the aftermath of the celebration for the back-to-back Super Bowl champs. And officials had expected, because of the weather, among other factors, that there could be around 1 million people out here in the downtown today along the parade route and around here for the rally. Certainly not all of them over here, but there were easily thousands of people if not tens of thousands of people in this immediate vicinity when this incident appears to have unfolded. And again, more broadly in the area, official Lester, potentially around 1 million people. At this point, it is mostly calm out here, but certainly you can see that these teams that have been on the rooftops are keeping a close eye on what is unfolding right around that train station, Lester.
Yeah, and we've seen some of the video that's come into us. We saw a woman a moment ago on a stretcher. We don't know her condition or what she experienced, but being taken obviously to an ambulance. Jesse, we also are hearing reports from police that 2 armed individuals were detained. Do we know anything more about that?
So I can tell you from where we are, we did not see anyone being arrested from all the way back here. And at this point, Lester, it is quite calm. We're not seeing anyone being moved around in handcuffs. We have just been able to see that one person on a stretcher so far from this vantage point. And again, there are just still many people out here who are walking around, and I can see off in the distance people all the way over there, Chris, if you can show it, people on a bridge continuing to stream out of here, as you would see after any major sporting event, let alone a parade of this size. And it just gives you an idea, Lester, of how many people are still in this area. And if they were in a position where they had to be running, it would have been quite difficult for them to make it away from this area in a quick timeline. Lester?
And put this in some time perspective for us. Did this occur at the end of the parade, and where was the parade in relation to the shot you were able to show us?
Yeah, so the festivities have been going on for a couple hours. Off in the distance back there, into the skyline, that's where the parade began around 11 a.m. local time, so that's about noon Eastern. It was about a 2-mile route that went down that way and then brought the team over here, and they rallied on the stage for about an hour. I would say about a quarter before 4 Eastern, that's when we saw the rally wrapping up and people started dispersing. And within minutes of the typical breakup of an event like that, we noticed that there were people who weren't walking out, but who were running away from the area off in that corner. Again, that's around that same time, Lester. So it's about 45 minutes or so within the last 40 minutes that we saw people running away, what appeared to be security or police personnel rushing in. And again, those teams on the rooftops suddenly became in a posture that, gave us the sense that something more serious was going on.
Yeah, and this all occurring at a celebration for the Chiefs over their Super Bowl win. Do we know, was their bus anywhere in sight of where the activity was occurring?
Yeah, so there were multiple buses involved with this parade, and what it looked like was going on is they were dropping the team off when they went on stage. We know that Union Station is a massive space. There's certainly plenty of space within there where the team could have been holding, trying to get out in the aftermath of the parade. But it appeared from what we could tell that the team was not on stage at the time that this happened. And again, Lester, it was going on as the rally had wrapped up and people were in larger numbers moving away. So clearly the crowd more broadly felt that the event had wrapped up at that point and were moving away. But the broader trickle out of fans did not change even after we started to see that up-close police activity. So it gives us the sense that people on the ground on this field behind us wouldn't have been hearing gunshots ringing out.
All right, Jesse Kershaw, I'm going to ask you to stand by as we continue to watch the activity. Some of the video that's come in, again, we can only tell you that multiple people have been shot. Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.